So I'm switching it up tonight. I'm trying to keep it real. But I do appreciate you all coming out. I am running for the office of the Secretary of the State. This has never really been on my radar screen. I have always, for at least 40 years now, been involved in my community in some way or another, and I have had served on positions elected and appointed, and I've worked in the business community all my life. I've had about 7 years in between that I worked for a municipality, which I think has allowed me to appreciate working in a government, a public setting, and being able to bring private sector efficiencies to that. I decided to run. I was actually approached by several colleagues who, I think anyone who's been involved in their community, it's hard for anyone you work with not to feel that, or in my case, I probably exude a little bit too much energy about being involved in my community. And it was actually one of the principals of Carlisle who said, "Why don't you run for public office?" And I said, "How stupid do I look?" And you actually But the bottom line is, I'm concerned about our state. I really am
I think we all are.
worried about the state of our state. And enough so that I decided to leave the comfort of my home. I have a good job, but I am willing to put my life on the line to try to put an infusion, a transfusion into this state's anemic state that it's in right now. I called the Secretary of the State, which that's an awkward conversation that I'm running for office, and I thought that I could build on a foundation and bring my resources, my talents to manage, build teams, inspire, and my business background to help move this state forward. And do something new. The executive branch of our government doesn't even talk to each other. And it just boggles my mind. If you're in business, there's different divisions of duties, but you all work together towards a common goal and a common purpose. So it probably shouldn't be much of a surprise that we don't have executive officers who do work together. I have never had a job that was defined or never blown out the job description. I mean, from when I was a teenager working in a grocery store, if there's nobody in my line, I was stocking shelves, I was sweeping the floor. Not because I was told to, because that's good business. I knew I was very shy, but at least I could smile and make customers feel good. That certainly made the boss feel good. And I had a job. I was grateful for a job. And I'm grateful that this is my home and that you are my neighbors. And that's why I go out. But as I've been traveling from the state, I thought that there was a foundation I could build on. That foundation is pretty cracked. I hear from registrars of voters and town clerks, the Secretary of the State should be the resource for those hard-working men and women who have been there for centuries, who count on that office for the support and the resources they need to do their job. It is vital to them to do their jobs. And I think the Secretary of the State has the ability to touch more residents than any other constitutional office because of all the citizens that rely on the town clerks and the registrars of voters and the chief elected officials to get their job done. And when that service isn't being provided, I have been getting calls from people on both sides of the aisles saying, "I am so grateful you're in this race. Even the level of service has changed, that what we weren't getting. It was better 8 years ago." That is a shame. We can do better, and we shouldn't have to settle. I envision working, giving the trust and respect back to that office, building with the business community, working with the mayors, the first selectmen, the economic development commissions, and building up our business community. This is what I do in my job. I am the treasurer of the company that owns all the service plazas in the state of Connecticut. We have a partnership with the state. It was private money that went in. There's a constant revenue stream coming into the state, and we have all the risk. These are the relationships that the state needs. The state cannot afford any more bonding and credit card spending, and we have to and we create a heck of a lot of jobs. Lawmakers can't do it alone. They have to get involved with the people who could help. And it appears that our state doesn't even recognize it has a problem. And until we recognize we have a problem, we're not going to be able to fix it. Another concern of mine is there has been so much energy after the last presidential election, and that's wonderful, and these people are running for office. But that is one day. You need people who are qualified to be able to get the job done the other 1,460 days for that 4-year term. So this is the biggest job interview I ever go. Look at my record. I'd be happy to tell you more about it. Go on the website. Talk to the people I've worked with, the businesses that I helped create. I did create my own business. I have built up this partnership. I was approached a year and a half, and Sue has worked on she was with the Carlyle Group and the other investors as they were working with the state. I was building the back office. I was actually going blind. I asked actually the management team one question, and I did the exact opposite, and I'm so grateful that I did. And when we opened on day one, we were up and running. I am proud of that. And I'm going blind. It seems like the state's going pretty much blind too. I have always worked hard. I don't think I've had a hard life. Everyone has their struggles. We never had an awful lot, but we shared what we had with those less fortunate. And I think when times were tough, we couldn't do that as much. And I think we have to make some tough decisions in the state in that regard too. And I share a bit of a personal story. There was one morning I woke up and my husband did not. In a heartbeat, my life changed. There was less money coming in than was going out. Again, so much like this state. I had to figure out what to do. I did start a business. I was working nights, weekends, kept my full-time job, but within 18 months I was able to leave that day job. They became a client, and I worked up to now I am the treasurer of this company that I was very proud to be a part of. And my son was no slouch either. He just started college, lost his dad, lost his best friend, and he was delivering bounce houses in the morning, delivering pizzas at night, working at a coffee shop during the day, in between his classes. That's what you do when times are tough. I've been knocked down, but you're not going to knock me out, and I'm going to put the same passion. But if you're happy with the state of our state, if you're happy with the way things are, then you probably don't want to vote for me. But if you think that we could do better, if you want hope restored, if you want to be proud of where you live, I'm your gal.
You're our gal.